obviously, as a younger guy. How do you think he can help all the freshmen and their development?
Well, Marcus is quiet by nature, but in our small group, the tight ends, he does a great job with the young tight ends, talking to them, leading them, trying to help them understand the right way, the Buckeye way to do things. So I think he's grown a lot in that, and I think he wants to pass on that to the young guys that, hey, you don't have to make some of the mistakes I made in the past in order to learn from me.
Hey Ed, when in the past we've asked you a ton about how many times the tight ends are going to catch the ball or whatever, but Marcus alluded to the idea that maybe this year the tight ends are more in situations on the same types of plays where they are the top read, when maybe in the past the same play they might not have been. Is that true, and have they been?
Well, I mean, our number one objective is to get the ball to playmakers. And as we develop this offense and go through training camp, we're trying to find out who the consistent playmakers are. Marcus has shown that he can be one, so have some of the other tight ends. So more and more they become a primary receiver in the progression. So we put in passes, or the progression takes the ball to them early. And so we want to be multiple in who we get the ball to, and we have ways to get it to every position, and that's a position we definitely want to get the ball to.
Kind of shift based on who's playing the position and not the play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, not necessarily. We don't really do that. It's just calling plays where they're in the progression early.
Offensively, what's been the biggest focus so far? I know it's early. JT talked about up-tempo is a big focus. What's been maybe the biggest focus offensively?
Yeah, just getting into a rhythm, playing fast, trying to be aggressive on offense, aggressive in tempo, aggressive in play calling, aggressive in throwing the ball, just an aggressive mindset at a fast tempo.
Is the idea to jump into that right from the start, just so everyone understands the tempo you're looking for?
Yeah, we didn't waste any time. We jumped right into tempo early. And we obviously in these long practices can't do that the whole day, but we have certain segments where we emphasize the tempo, and we mix it in there. So it's a way for us, again, to be the aggressor on offense.
You got one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but behind him you have 2-3 guys that have never taken a college snap. How do you get the quarterbacks up to speed behind JT?
That is a challenge for us. It's a good challenge because Joe Burrow's come a long way and had a great spring game and has really continued to develop from there. And you know, our freshman quarterback, Dwayne, is really a talented individual. We like him. So we get a lot of reps in practice. So the one thing about tempo is we might be able to get 20 more reps. So guess who's going to get those? It won't be JT, it'll be those two guys, so that again they can get more work. Some young receivers, young running backs, young linemen. So the extra reps that we can pick up going at a little faster tempo is going to help our quarterbacks.
Is Pat good to go physically?
What's that?
Is Pat good to go physically?
Yes, he is. And he's on the plan we want him to be on. Pat's been here, 5-year guy, so we know what Pat can do and will do for us. So we're just being real smart with him through early camp.
No real concerns?
Talk about
No concerns at all.
Talk about with this young team, how valuable it is for you to look back there and see JT running things.
Well, whether you had a veteran team or a young team, to have a JT Barrett, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, somebody you trust, you respect, and as a great leader, I mean, that's where it all starts. So it gives you more options. You have more ability to run variety of plays. He's all-purpose. He can run the ball well. He can throw the ball short, medium, and long. And, great leader. So it just makes you feel good. When you got Pat Elflein at center, JT Barrett, that's a great starting point.
And are you already seeing the benefits of coaching tight ends so that you can more focus on the offensive side of things as the offensive coordinator? Are you seeing any benefits thus far that are showing up?
Well, with a guy like Greg Stadura here, that allows him to have eyes on 5. I can have eyes now, instead of on those 5, more on the 6 skill. We have great coaches at the skill, but it allows me to have eyes on that a little bit more and just see things and be more involved in the whole package. I mean, now it's just kind of a better fit in terms of doing the whole thing.
Yeah, I joked with Marcus, is the reason the tight ends might see more action, more balls this year is because the offensive coordinator's their coach. What do you
Probably
think?
only makes sense, right?
Yeah. But seriously, when you moved upstairs to the Michigan game, from then on, the offense seemed
What game?
The game against y'all's
Team up
rival.
north. Okay.
think they're called Michigan. But anyway, when you moved over from that point on, what did you see offensively that clicked? I mean, what did you see that maybe was different?
Well, the whole thing about being removed like that elevated is you can process all the information without it being relayed to you. Someone doesn't have to see it, tell it to you, then you don't have to listen to it, process it, and then make a decision. You can do all that on your own.
Yeah.
So that transition time is 1 or 2 seconds instead of 7 or 8 seconds, and then you can go faster. Or you have more time to think. If you don't want to go faster, you have a little more time to decide. So, and you see all the nuances. You know, you don't have to have somebody tell you, hey, well, the corner's playing heavy inside to the field, and the boundary will linebacker's always doing this. Because if you're on the field, you don't see any of that. You have to have all the pieces relayed to you. Up there, you see all the pieces if you have a good, broad vision of what's going on. So it's just easier to do that, and it's less chaotic. The sideline is, very high energy, loud, somewhat chaotic. Weather can affect things down there. So.
And when you guys looked at last season and maybe planned for the alignment of the offensive coaching staff this fall, how much of the discussion was we are so much faster with Ed up there because of those things you're talking about?
Quite a bit. That's the way Coach wanted to go, so that we could play faster and that we could process faster, and then get the information from myself and Tim Beck in the press box down to the field as quickly as we can. And so it was a good working mix, because you guys know I worked with Tim Beck before Kansas, and we had a lot of success together doing that.
And you've got a lot of young wide receivers and offensive skill players. I know it's early in camp, but are you seeing what you need to see from them the first few days?
Yeah, I mean, they're hungry, they're fast and athletic. So we just have to see who can pick up the system and who can sustain through this part of training camp as it goes right now. They're going to start to hit the wall sooner than later, and then who can push through that and continue to learn and play fast. So, but it's exciting because we are very deep and skilled out there.
Yeah, go back to that play calling thing with you and Tim sitting side by side.
More for Coach, please.
Is there a symmetry there that that you guys see the same things, etc.? Just explain.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's part of why you build a coaching staff. I mean, if Coach Meyer and I didn't philosophically agree on things, we probably wouldn't be working together. I probably wouldn't be here. But I so believe in his philosophy that it's easy to work with him, and we mesh together. And then you want to bring other people into that. Greg Stadura, Tim Beck, those kind of guys that are all of the same mindset. So when we see something, we are all thinking the same thing. The same thing. They do this, it's coming out of 3 people's mouth. We should do this, instead of everybody saying something different. So we're having more symmetry in that regard. That it's a good flow, and we are philosophically in alignment on what we want to do. And we were when Tom Herman and I worked together with Coach Meyer, and we are with Tim Beck, and with Greg having worked with Coach in the past. So it's really it's a good situation. Offensive staff is in a good place.
What's the biggest thing y'all have to get done?
Marcus, how many times in his career would you estimate that he's been the first read on a play in a game?
Ooh, I don't know. That's hard to say. Probably not too many, but hopefully we can change that. Yeah.
The fact that it's changing says more about him and his role, or the role of the tight end in this offense this season?
The role of all the pieces. If you have talent at every position, then you need to use it. And so a tight end can really be, as you can see in the National Football League, the tight ends that are exceptional really help their offenses. And so a big player in the middle, it's a matchup problem. He has tremendous speed and good hands, understands the passing game very well. So now we have perimeter threats, we have inside threats, and we can run the ball.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.